Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rational Female Podcast. And today we have a full panel and we are going to be talking about female hypergamy. So, for those who don't know, hypergamy is generally the assumption from a non feminist perspective that women are biologically wired to seek out mates of a higher socioeconomic status. So, this can explain the phenomena behind women marrying men who are wealthy, women being attracted to men who have more money, who have more status. And what we are going to have today is the three non-feminists and the two feminists essentially, discuss this, debate this, see how they effectively feel about this. So everyone is going to have a chance to speak for a few minutes, which I will be timing. And I'm sure it will be a very interesting discussion. So thank you, everyone, today for joining us. It's very hot. I'm literally dying and sweating like crazy, but we soldier on. So, who would like to start us off?
Well,
I don't mind.
Yeah, we'll let Guadalupe go first. I'm going to go like that when your time is up. Okay, and go. Yeah, 4 minutes.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. Okay, well, I'm going to start and then you will stop me whenever it is my time to stop, and I might carry on explaining further in the next time when it's my turn. Okay, first of all, I do not share the description of believing that women are actually selecting men because of their biology and blah, 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 blah. I don't believe it like that. So what I have done really, because I've been thinking about the issue, I have looked into the context we live in and the position that women have in the society. Well, we live in a totally unequal society, even in the Western world. And there is no modern society where women earn the same, doing the same jobs as men do, at all. The resources are still in men's possessions, yes? And men do not share the heavy load of the home and the care in the house. So we are in a society which is very unfair. For example, if I look at who has the money in technology, who runs religions, who is in the film industry, television, sports, I suppose you have heard about the football, multi-millions going around, 99% are all men earning them and enjoying it. Management and banking is all men. The money is in men's hands still. Politics, law, and academia is in the hands of men. And companies and business, and men own most of the land of the planet. So that's the background where I want to set up my opinions. Now, women have always been a transaction between men. In the past, the monarchies, the aristocracies, they used to pass their daughters very, very young. I mean, sometimes even young girls were promised to a man of a certain age. So this has been something that has been always happening from the past to the present time, in all for financial and economical gains. But then the money is always in the hands of the men, because in the moment, if it was a rich girl or the daughter of a rich man, the money would go to the husband because she had no civil rights and she couldn't sign a paper, she couldn't do anything. So still, even if it is a rich woman, the money will pass to the man and then probably to the eldest child. Working class women would be marrying among themselves with working class men. So it's really, the ones that have the choice have been always men. The older the man, the most chances he would have to get a very young girl. And we see it, and we have seen it in the past, how older men would marry very young women. The women always been over a very different economical situation. And sometimes now in the present, usually the men are divorced, they get to their 50s, and you can see them with a woman of 20, 18, 20, 24. The woman will have lots of handbags, she may have a good standard of living, a good house, maybe some children, but she will not inherit that much because it will pass as well to the previous children that he might have already, which is usually the case. We have it in literature, for example, Anna Karenina, Madame Bovary, all these women who were married to older and clever and richer men. Okay, well, I will carry from there, just finishing that even the writer of Anna Karenina, Leon Tolstoy, was married. He was in his 50s and he married a woman of 18. Yes, I mean, it's been always happening, and I will carry on explaining further if I have the chance.
Thank you so much, Guadalupe, for starting us off. So would one of the non-feminists, Jana, would you like to come in and give in a rebuttal to that? And as I said, when I go like that, please start to wrap up. Okay, Jana, please go.
Okay, I will give a rebuttal. Sorry, but I will more or less first give my opinion. So in my opinion, yes, hypergamy is actually real. It is a thing. Women are, generally speaking, attracted to men based on their status, their socioeconomic status, and all of those things. Initially, before I really put a lot of thought into anti-feminism, I did not think women were hypergamous. I heard about it slightly and I thought immediately, of course not, this is not true. This is a topic that is actually very dear to me in terms of anti-feminism because it's one of the first topics that I explored. On one hand, I thought it's not true that we are hypergamous, but on the other hand, I did have some doubts. Okay, long story. Anyway, the person who I saw online was called Alex on Live. He spoke about it a very long time ago, and he's not anyone famous or of note, but he spoke about hypergamy, saying that women were, and when I first listened to his videos, I thought, of course, we're not. We're just normal people. And he said a sentence within one of his videos that made me think, and he said, ask anyone, because he was speaking to men, and he said, yes, women are definitely hypergamous. Just ask any one of whoever you're sleeping with, what is it they're actually attracted to? What they get totally excited about? What is it they're attracted to in bed? What makes them want to get off in bed? And He said that, and the way he asked it, I, of course, as a woman, I sat down and I thought, what is it I am attracted to? What is it that gets me off in terms of sexuality? And I thought about it and it clicked and I understood that I personally am a hypergamous woman. Now, I'm not saying every woman would be hypergamous. Some women are not even attracted to men at all. Some women are lesbian. Some women are asexual. Some women, everybody's sexuality will work differently. But just as we have bell curves, the norm is a woman who is hypergamous. And we can see this through things like romance comedies. We can see that Korean comedies, when Netflix talks about which romance films do the best, it's always these Korean films where the man is rich. He's a billionaire. We had these short clips which were coming a lot from China. China had to actually ban these films. They banned it within China because they were going so viral. Throughout the internet, they go viral. And what is the guy? The guy is always a CEO billionaire. 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades of Grey, Cinderella stories, Bridgerton. We saw when Bridgerton came out, they had all the different types of Bridgertons. The one that did the best was where the guy was a king. And you had Netflix sitting down there saying, oh, why did the one where the guy was a writer not do so well? It was because the main actor was fat and we don't like fat people. It had nothing to do with her being fat. It's the same reason people love Cinderella, people love this is what women are the overwhelming consumers of romance films. And we see it over and over again that romance films actually always do better when the guy is someone of high socioeconomic status. We enjoy it more. We like it more. It's what we look for. And I have to say, as a woman, yes, I am hypergamous. That is a part of my biology. That is a deep-seated part of my biology. Not something that I would notice off the back. But if I really sit and think about it in terms of my sexuality, what I am attracted to is higher socioeconomic status. So, and I believe that I fall into the norm of what normal female sexuality is. There are many women who do not fall into this norm. The thing is, though, you have to be careful because MRAs and not MRAs, but manosphere and anti-feminists tend to take this to the extreme and think because a woman is hypergamous, she will leave a guy when he gets old. Because a woman is hypergamous, she can't be trusted. Because a woman, this is a small part of our biology. It does not extrapolate to all that. Just like a guy wouldn't leave a woman just because she becomes fat, it's the same. We won't leave a man for not having money. Okay, that's it.
Cool. Thank you very much, Women Against Feminism. So, Alex, would you like to comment as a feminist and give some thoughts onto that? Cool.
Yeah, as a guy who is a feminist, I haven't thought about this that much, to be honest. So, I based just on urban culture of like London, Los Angeles, just like New York City, that kind of thing. It just the Hollywood industry has to sell tickets. It's not. This is the ick that I have with people who are anti-feminist, because you frame everything as biological. Like you see, biology seems to play like 80% of what you guys seem to say, and it just doesn't seem realistic that there are lots of women who are going for men strictly based on like how much money they earn. Like, if I've got that wrong, you can correct me when you have time.
It's not strict. I said it's a small part of our biology. It's not going to be strict.
Well, it's fair.
Sorry, can you let him finish, please, and then you comment now.
Oh Christ. So, I forgot my train of thought now. It doesn't seem like.
Sorry.
It doesn't. From my perspective, my ex-partners did not think, because he's unemployed, I don't want to date him. I know that you said that it's a small minority of people, but if I don't have, it's basically implying that all of the working classes, which is 99% of the population, who are on like the average wage, who don't earn like 60 or 70,000 pounds or whatever the upper limit is in the States and in other countries, it's implying that they aren't in relationships. And I'm pretty sure there are lots of people who are on average incomes, even if it's a tiny minority of them that aren't, who obviously no. It's just basically, for me, it's implying that. Oh my god, I'm blanking.
Shall I come back to you later?
It doesn't seem like hypergamy is really a thing. To me, it doesn't seem like women are going based on how much money the guy earns, because that would mean that everyone in hospitality is single. That would mean everyone outside the banking sector, outside of law and other industries that pay a lot, are all single, and it's just not the case. I'm good.
Okay. All right. So, any anti-feminist, non-feminist? Tim, you're up. Go on.
There, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Oh boy. So it's not that women are exclusively attracted to billionaires. It's that women are attracted to men that have a higher socioeconomic level than themselves. So if she's a waitress, then a man stuck in middle management will look like husband material to her. But if she's in middle management, that same man may not be very attractive to her. I'll take it down to biology. Of course, it's about sexuality. I will enter biology into this discussion of biology. Indeed. So let's take it to the biological floor. So as naturalists put it, sperm's cheap, eggs are expensive. What that means is that the sperm's cheap because there's always plenty of it to go around. It only takes a few men to impregnate any number of women. So there's always sperm around. That comes cheap. You see, females are the limiting factor in reproduction. What that means is that the total number of birthing females you have in your population determines the total number of offspring you can expect to have in your next population. And you see, females, it's a much larger investment for a woman, for a female to have sex than it is for a male, because she's the one that's going to give the birth, and she's the one who's going to breastfeed if it's a mammal species, and you know, invest a lot in protecting and raising the offspring. You see, as David M. Buss puts it, those who hold valuable resources do not give them away cheaply or unselectively, because women in our evolutionary past risked enormous investment as a consequence of having sex. Evolution favored women who were highly selective about their mates. You see, from this biological evolutionary standpoint, it just makes sense. Those females that were particularly attracted to alpha males, that were the ones that secured an alpha male, were the ones that had a better chance of survival in the brutal past. Moreover, the offspring had a greater chance of survival. See, it doesn't do any good for a woman to have offspring if the offspring do not survive to have offspring of their own. She still remains a genetic dead end if her children do not go off to have offspring. Okay, so an alpha male can help secure not only the survival of the mother, but also of the offspring, the children. And so women that favored higher status men had a much higher genetic survival rate. So those traits, the hypergamous traits, were selective. Women that had a hypergamous streak within them were more likely to survive. And this shows up in all over the place. Let me see, do I have time to go into what's going on in Japan right now, and has been for quite a few decades. I'll finish up with the biology of the whole thing. So there was a Yale University conducted experiment in which they taught capuchin monkeys to regard metal discs as money that they could put in a slot, and out comes a grape or some other delicacy, you see. So once the monkeys got it in their head that this was money, then this Keith Chen that ran the experiment said what he witnessed was probably the first observed exchange of money for sex in the history of monkey kind. She sold her what her more valued resource.
Just because of time, but thank you for what you said, Tim. That's really okay. Great. Okay, cool. Thank you. So Clark, please unmute yourself and come in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very pleased to be here. I will piggyback on what my non-feminist cohort has said here, and speaking as a physician and a evolutionary psychiatrist and an observer of human behavior, I would say that the data is replete and can be confirmed from several different sources that it is far beyond more probable than not. It's probably beyond clear and convincing evidence that hypergamy exists. It has existed for thousands of years, since probably before prehistory. And for us to try to say that it doesn't exist now is probably some vestige of some sort of cultural phenomenon that is useless to try to support and foster. We should see the world as it is. The the definition of higher ordered defenses, at least one definition is those defenses that allow you to experience more of reality than the lower ordered defenses. And so when we distort, when we use projection, when we use passive aggressive defense mechanisms, we are operating on a lower ordered level of the hierarchy of defenses. When we utilize aestheticism, when we utilize humor, when we utilize introspection, and when we utilize acceptance, we are using higher order defenses. And finally, along with every insight defined as cognitive and emotional awareness or knowing of a given reality, when we obtain insight into a circumstance, that insight is always accompanied by a small or greater amount of what is referred to as dysphoria or a lower mood. That's because reality bites. And to put it another way, the closer we get to reality, the more we experience reality and we are forced to accept reality. And the reality is that hypergamy exists, and it's been here since prehistory.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, everybody's given their different thoughts. So now I'm gonna relax it up a bit so you guys can now interrupt each other if you want to and cut each other, but still I'm gonna try and still ensure that everyone gets a chance to say what they want. So who would like to come in? And okay, Guadalupe, all yours, go for
it. Okay. Yes. Okay. First of all, I wanted just to go through a couple of things that I heard, and then I would like to carry on just doing a couple of a thing more about my analysis that I didn't finish. Okay. First of all, the films are in their majority made by men, produced by men, and they have to sell to a particular public audience. If it is romantic with the usual thing that you have the prince, whatever it is, coming to save you and to bring you all these things in life to a woman, it's going to be the target audience is going to be women. Yes, but it's made by men. The money is in the hands of men in the film industry. Bridget Jones, I think you put it. Bridget Jones, I don't know, but I think is the most ridiculous woman in the world.
Not Bridget Jones, Bridget Tan.
Don't, sorry.
Bridget Tan, which was written by a woman. Bridget Tan.
I don't know. I think you said
Bridgerton. The series.
Okay, Bridgerton, I haven't seen it. Okay, leave it. I leave it out then. Okay, I don't share about the biology and all that. That's what we've been told.
But wait, sorry, Bridget
don't
Jones,
interrupt
if you want to
me.
talk
Don't
about
interrupt
that,
me.
you can
Don't
though,
interrupt me.
because
Please,
Bridget Jones
I thought we were allowed to interrupt now.
No, because then I cannot say anything, and then
No, you can, but not too much. Let Guadalupe
can I just finish? Okay, can I have a minute? Just a minute without interruption, please, and then because then it becomes a shouting match. I have to be allowed, otherwise I don't like participating because my views are very different. They are very different to yours, and they are going to clash, but we have to give respect. Okay, biology. Tim went into the biology. Okay, the biology is something that has been told us forever that we wanted. Well, women were forced to have 12, 13, 14 children. Most of them died at birth. Yes, giving birth. The children would die, and the mothers would die. Eventually, they would die. I mean, you have women giving birth to 10, 12, even in royalty, okay? They were forced because there was no way of stopping it, okay? In the moment in the moment women have had control of their bodies, the famous biology that Tim goes on about, that is biology, in the Western world, in Britain, in anywhere, women do not want to have children. Now they are telling us, have children. Well, not to me anymore, I did have them, but to the young women here, have children, because really they have 1.5, well, 1.5, it would be 2 per person. They don't have children. Families, women do not want to have 3, not even 3, sometimes
Is that
1.
good or bad?
Okay, and I want to finish now. If I want just to put, please, and I finish, an example, because we have examples of all this phenomenon that you are talking about everywhere. Okay, at this talk, I talked before, giving examples about older men marrying very young women, which is still happening, yes? But here I'm going to talk about men the same age, for example, in the same generation. We have the famous footballers. Footballers are young and they marry very young women like them, more or less like them, and they have children with them and all that. I mean, the footballer is usually men earning millions. Okay. Okay, just I finished with this example and then I will have more time for the other examples. Okay, we have the footballers. The footballers, the rich footballers, these are the ones I am talking about. Okay, for a footballer, is a sportsman. It needs so much. He has to be able to talk to the press. He has to be able to eat the right food. He has to be able to train. It's really a very dedicated profession and a skill. And he marries usually a certain type of woman. It's a woman that is highly dedicated. Usually those women, and believe me, I think, bravo. I am not criticizing the women, but it's usually a type of woman. It's a woman that has to be, for those footballers to choose them and have them on their side, is to validate themselves. Yes, has to be a woman that has to be taking care of her body like this is because it's the only thing that she has. And it has to be a type of woman that emulates a type of beauty that is kind of the soft porn figure that the idea of manhood has. The virile man has that woman by his side, okay? Those women have children and eventually are discarded because those men will have another one. I will finish here.
Come on.
All right, Tim, go on, say your piece.
Okay, thanks. So, in my judgment, Guadalupe, you're an expert on all male modes of power, but maybe you don't know anything about female modes of power. I identify 14 modes of female power in my book. So what I see as seen from a politicized male perspective, as opposed to a politicized female perspective, this so-called patriarchy, where you see men on top of everything, this is nothing more than men everywhere set in fierce competition in their efforts to perform, achieve, and succeed their way into having what women are empowered to demand of them. I see the sexes as equal partners in the human system, each playing an equal overall force of influence, and thus equally responsible for outcomes.
Okay. Cool. Who wants to go in and say something?
Alex.
I can continue.
Alex, where are you with this?
You've got time. You can continue.
You want me to continue? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Continue. Go on.
Well, I was asking.
Oh, go ahead, Clark.
Alex, because it seemed like he had kind of, I don't know, he had kind of not been in touch with what either Guadalupe or Tim were saying. And so I was wondering what you were thinking and feeling as you were listening to what was being said.
Okay, sorry. So I'm just looking at the chat, and there's just a bit of a discussion going about women making films. I just put in the chat as well. American Psycho is a film that is directed by a woman. Obviously, yes, most filmmakers have been men, but there are female filmmakers out there. We should not negate that. And not all female filmmakers.
I guess I'm. Oh no, this is not hypergamy.
And
What do
those
you
men
mean?
make the film.
And the vast majority
women are
of
the
romance
consumers.
novelists
Let's not lose
have
sight
Are
of
admitted
women?
that.
Yes, I said that too. Most romance novelists are women, so romance is generally a genre that's written by women for women.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
So I
And
Yeah,
actually
I
what we
agree
wanted
with
see
to
in
hear
a pattern
Guadalupe.
there is that every romance novel has your alpha male. Exactly zero romance novels have some shoe salesman as the romantic interest.
Tim.
They're always very super high status, and often rather superhuman males are the ones that are the object of great lust and desire by women in general. Though of course, there are so few such men that only very few women can procure one.
Tim, what is your definition of alpha male?
So the alpha male is the top male. He's the same as naturalists identify him. He's the one who's the dominant male.
Are you so? You still believe that there's within the spheres of men and women, there's a hierarchy of there are some men who are just lesser than other men.
In terms of status, in terms of wealth, in terms of influence, yeah, it's a hierarchy. Males form
I guess
hierarchy.
in terms of what you guys talk about a lot, which is there's a hierarchy biologically with men.
Yes, I would say
No,
that
not
exists in nature.
No, it's not.
So Tim, biologically, you think that there are some men like me, obviously you're not going. I'm not making it a personal thing, but there are some men of which I could be an example where I'm biologically inferior to another man.
No, how do you
No.
extrapolate
When I
that?
say inferior, I just mean I'm down the high. I just mean I'm.
There are men that are lesser in terms of
I'm a beta male.
the hierarchy of desirability of women. There are men that make the most eligible bachelor's list, and there are men that don't.
Why do they make the list?
Well,
of
eligibility is just a euphemism.
Do you agree?
It's just a euphemism for those men who make a good paycheck, who make a family supporting wage.
So basically, what we're talking about in terms of hypergamy is just basic. It's just.
Do you agree with that, Alex?
Pardon?
He asked if you agree with that.
Do you agree with that, Alex?
I don't agree that.
No.
I don't have social status, and I've still dated women.
Neither do I.
They don't care about my status. They liked me. They fancied me.
By what metric? By what metric do
By the fact that they had sex with me and decided that they wanted me to be their boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I may, I think
there's a guy. Let me respond to that, please.
Yeah.
Let me respond to that, please. There's a guy.
Can you
God
speak a bit
rest his
faster?
soul. What?
Can you speak a bit faster? You speak quite slowly.
I do that to make sure that I am understood and
You're understood,
not misinterpreted. So let me finish. Let me finish. Can I speak faster? No, I can't. Not without being misinterpreted. Okay, so there's a guy, God rest his soul. His name is Kevin Samuels, and his definition of success is the number of marriages, not necessarily the number of relationships, sexual relationships. You might define, and I would accept as a definition, the number of children sired by a woman or a man. And I would accept that as one definition of success as it pertains to this question of hypergamy. And what's your response to that?
I do agree that there are women who go after men for social status. I won't disagree with that. So hypergamy does kind of exist to a certain degree, but then again, it goes the opposite way. There are going to be women who are in high demand because men want a woman with higher social status than him.
Can I say something about that? Or I don't
Yeah,
know.
go ahead, Lupe, go on,
Maybe,
yeah.
okay.
Sorry, can I just make one point as well? The argument isn't that the argument of saying pro-hypergamy isn't saying that men who don't have any money can't have a girlfriend. I think the general argument is that women typically prefer men who earn more money. Just to put that out there.
Okay.
So
Yes.
this entire argument is generalizations.
Okay, can I just say about this this man that you are talking about? That is the man at the top, the alpha man. Okay, the alpha man. Who is he? What is he about? Because it seems to be like it's a hierarchical selection. You have this alpha man. Okay, it's a man that is probably the worst thing that can happen to a woman, because it's a man that is only has to be trying to prove 24 hours a day his masculinity and his alpha status, not to her, to the rest of the men, because this is about other men are the ones that keep him there at the top of the tree, and not the women. The woman will think, oh my God, this is amazing, amazing. That man doesn't care about the woman. That man really cares about himself. That is not in touch with his emotions. Is just thinking that now he sees that one and he goes, just like you say, Clark, about the number of relationships. You can only go from a relationship to another relationship to another one and another one if you don't care about anybody and you see women as objects. And that is
But that's
Alex.
what women want.
And that is
That's
Alex.
exactly
Alex, that
what
is the alpha man full
hypergamous
of
women
hot
want.
air. It's
That's
hot
exactly
air
what
where you
hypergamous
cannot be.
women
Let
want.
me finish, because otherwise, if you start to pinpoint and say, okay, what it is this alpha man for? Can he talk? Very little. Is he interested in women? Very little. What does he want to prove to be in that status continuously? He has to be 24 hours a day working in something that is not clear because nobody knows what it is, but it has to keep him on that tree. So, Alex, leave it. There is no alpha man. Women find out very quickly. The women that go for that alpha man, they are destroyed because there is nothing. Inside in the house, he cries for his mother's soup.
They all think
Guadalupe, I don't agree with the alpha male.
I have known by a few. I have known by a few.
This is
Right.
a man problem. This is a men on men problem.
Yes.
Women don't care that much about height.
No.
Women don't care that much about if he's got abs or
Wrong.
not. Women,
Wrong.
they want
6 foot,
decent men who
6
won't,
figures,
I mean, mostly
6
won't rape
inches,
them
6-pack.
and has respect for them.
Yeah.
Wrong.
You can
Wrong.
shake your
I
head,
disagree
but like
entirely.
I'm a guy, and I believe that it's not women that are the problem. It's other
It's the
men.
men. Yeah,
and
but
myself.
I'm telling you the same
All
thing.
folk is
I didn't
male.
express
Yes, of course,
myself.
from a
It's
feminist
the main problem.
perspective.
Women do not
Tim,
care.
you've got
They
to
don't
really,
Sure,
Tim,
sure,
sorry,
sure.
Tim, you've got to stop framing
Lack
me
of
as a
accountability,
feminist lens.
sure.
I'm-
All right,
this is
everyone. Can one person talk now, please? Clark.
Tim
please
Goldich,
speak up.
you've literally got your own echo chamber and your own
Alex,
what's the word?
Can you not resort
It's
to
your own.
acronyms on the screen,
It's
please?
your own propaganda. Like, you guys keep on referring to us as the whole politicized feminist, but you
This
guys
is
are
a
politicizing
debate.
your own way of thinking.
Right, Alex.
I'm
Sorry.
politicizing both and asking us to call it even. That's really where I'm at. It all balances
Sorry,
out.
right.
You're
Jana,
not asking us to call it even.
right, Jana.
Okay, I actually want to.
Sorry.
Yes, I am asking you to call it even. I'm ready. I'm willing to call it even if you are. What do you say?
Okay, Jana, you go.
Okay, I actually want to say something in support of what Alex was trying to say, I think, with all his questions, in that he was trying to point out that we are actually more complex. So we cannot, I think one of the problems is that we sort of try to put it like alpha and da-da-da-da. You cannot, humans are complex. The idea of dating and how we select mates and stuff is a very, very complicated, complex thing, which would be influenced by biology, but it's also influenced by culture. It's also influenced by past experiences. It's influenced by so many things that it will never actually just land on one thing, and it won't just land on one like biological thing that will send us in this or that or whatever, right? So I agree with the feminists when they say that's not exactly how women are choosing mates. I didn't choose my mate based on economic, whatever. I didn't choose my mate based on hypergamy. And when people go online and say things like, oh, a hypergamous woman will just leave you for the next man, I would never leave my husband. I've been with my husband now over 20 years. There's nothing that would make me leave him. He could be a beggar on the street. I wouldn't leave him. These things are a part of my personality based on many things. I'm not just some biological ant that just, do follows biology. Yet still, I can say that a part of my biology is still hypergamous. Something being a part of our human nature doesn't mean that we will just follow it despite everything else. We have culture, we have experiences, we have a brain, we have so much complex things going on there. So women having or men having certain propensities doesn't mean that we will do this or that you can predict people's behavior, which is why, Alex, yes, you can find a mate despite your socioeconomic status. Many men can find mates despite that. Culture matters, experiences matter, the complexity of humans, diversity, all of that matters. And of course, you can find a mate and you will find a mate. You can find many mates. It doesn't mean that still there is some sort of favor to people who have higher socioeconomic status. It might be easier for you to find a mate if you had a higher socioeconomic status. All those things play a role. So the problem is we keep diluting these things and making it into this black and white alpha male, beta male. That is not something. That is not a thing. Humans are complex. All of this is complex. There's so many factors to consider. Yes,
we
Alex,
can
I want to
actually
hear your
agree.
opinion.
We can agree, and it just from my point of view, it just seems like Tim is so biologically essentialist that it is everything is natural, everything is females and this, males that. Like that's the terms that we use for biological sex. We're men and women as our genders.
Well, can I address that?
That's what I got from it. That's what I got from it.
Can I address that? So let's take a look at the big picture then. Let's take a look at what happens. So among Japanese under the age of 40, 24.6% of the women and 25.8% of the men are virgins. Quote, although the discussion around cause and effect becomes very complex when considering who becomes sexually experienced and who remains a virgin, we show that heterosexual inexperience is at least partly socioeconomic issue for men. Simply put, money talks. The researchers.
I didn't say it didn't. I never said it didn't.
Hold on. So compared to those with the highest incomes, men in the lowest income categories were 10 to 20 times more likely to be virgins. On the other hand, women who were more likely to have had intercourse if they had lower personal incomes. And why would that be? Well, because a lower income woman would look around her and see more men that are a higher income than she. Now, how does this impact? Well, we have all over the world a plummeting of birth rates. And at least part of this is because men no longer fulfill the biologically preference of women for higher status men. There are fewer of them. Yeah, Clark.
Yep, gone.
30 years ago, Hillary Clinton said the best way to achieve population suppression, reduce the population growth, is to educate women. All right. So 30 years ago, Hillary knew that there was something about giving women educational opportunities that was connected. There's a correlation. Is it a causation? I submit to you, yes. And it's a direct cause. And the cause
I'd just like to interject.
Is what we are discussing right now.
Sorry, can I just interject? Women have always been educated. Education has historically been more reserved for the wealthier classes. It's just that there was a different types of education. So women usually, for example, were educated at home. They were usually educated in terms of things like arts and humanities, so sewing, needlework, music, teaching. So can we not say that women were always uneducated? That's actually historically inaccurate. Also,
I didn't say uneducated.
No. They were not educated for the world, not to go out there and earn a living. They We're not
I did not
educated.
say
Well, they
that
were.
women were uneducated.
Upper class women and probably upper middle class women were educated too. I know that wasn't your point. I'm just saying that for the
yeah, it's bringing women into the workplace to have their own paychecks, to have their own money source. That's what reduces the population. Because the moment women became financially independent, we started hearing women need men the way fish need bicycles. I mean, it was like 15 minutes after women got their financial.
I don't think it should be what is needed. It should be what people want.
Yes, unequal. Equal world.
If the human race goes extinct because men can't be bothered to be a better standard for women, then let's go extinct. There's no actual need for us to procreate. That's not
there
need.
is. We want to sustain ourselves,
We
and I
literally
do.
can-
I
we
want to
can.
sustain humanity.
But it doesn't matter because the Earth is not going to last forever either. Like the idea that
It'll
we
last
need
billions of
to
years.
procreate.
Alex, don't
It's
you
just-
think that is your opinion?
Of course it is. Yeah.
Of course, that's an antinatalist position.
It may
I
be an
don't- like,
opinion
you
that
can
is
call it-
shared
you can
by
call it
others.
whatever
But don't
you
you
want,
think that
but
that's your opinion?
No, I just said it is.
Well, let's just like say humans have a biological need, whether we like it or not, to procreate. Humans want to survive. I'll say something very dark.
No,
if somebody tries to unalive
I
themselves,
don't think that's
the first thing that happens is the desire.
biological.
We have a biological need to
Please.
survive. If
Wait a minute,
someone tries
Jana,
to
you're
unalive
no.
Jana, you're
Let us hear what
muted.
you're saying.
Oh no, sorry,
We
I'm
have a
not.
bo-
I'm
No, I
not
think
saying
she's
anything.
We have a
sorry.
biological. We can procreate, but we have a biological need for
biological wired to want
ourselves.
to procreate. All humans
sorry.
have a desire to live. That's just a fact, right? So I'm not
Okay,
saying
yeah, I have a
that's-
desire to not. I have a desire to not die.
Yes,
Unalive.
because
I have
that's
a desire
part
to
of,
not
like,
unalive.
yeah, that's part of the human's desire.
Well, I have a
That's
desire
part of
for
the-
humanity to survive.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay, then you need to impregnate a lot of people.
Actually, men do have a. Oh, I'm not gonna comment so much. Right? Does somebody want to comment? Guadalupe, comment, please.
Okay. I just wanted to go on giving another example to prove my point that it is men selecting younger women and, and poorer, let's put it poorer, or with a from a lower social economical class, let's say. For example, if we look, we have big examples, okay? I want to bring in, for example, we have it here in royalty. We have the future king married, Prince William married Kate Middleton, okay? Kate Middleton is a woman who will be probably the queen that comes from anywhere in the country, and she obviously would be one of the women that have married higher up, yes? She will be within the demographics that we are talking about. However, what is the life of Kate Middleton? Kate Middleton, we don't know how she speaks. The only thing that she has to have is not to have a personality. She has to smile and wear the most beautiful clothes and have the ideal body to go out there and to be very pretty next to him. Yes, that's all she's expected of her, and produce children that she has done very beautifully. And I think she's great. I am not by any means talking her down. I think she's great. But look at her position as a woman that is there, and she's supposed to be one of these women that we say that they are getting the men higher. The other one that is very famous was Prince Harry marrying Meghan Markle. Okay, look at that, what happened. The British people didn't accept her because she was one of these women that we are talking about that want to catch all these men that are higher up, yes? Although he repeated hundreds of times that he loves her and he wants her to be happy, and he left the country because the British people were, first of all, racist. Second, you know what happened? What was wrong with her? that she had a personality and she wanted to be present and she wanted to speak and she wanted to make her mark and she wanted to be here present. No. The public and the newspapers here said you cannot do it. You have to accept your place over there, and because you are the woman that has cut our prince. Yeah, I hear it every day, basically, when I talk to many royalists. So look, misogyny, racism, and all that. The ideal woman that will fit into this category of getting to marry up has to be a woman that has no voice, no personality, is pretty, and is just there enhancing the figure of
So
the
can
man.
I ask a question?
That's my.
So what's the mirror opposite of misogyny?
Misogyny. Misogyny is an
The mirror.
unseen
What is
role.
the mirror? We all know. Everyone on the planet knows what misogyny is.
Oh,
What's
no,
the
no,
mirror
they don't know
opposite?
it.
What is the mirror opposite of misogyny?
Well, I don't know, because I have never met a woman that
Yeah,
is
you
more
don't know. I mean, that's
loving
the whole
men.
thing.
Guadalupe, he's trying to say misandry.
It doesn't matter. It's a word that he and people like him probably enjoy. I have never, look, in my long
That's a
life,
prime
I have
example.
never met a woman that really, I see women that are treated so badly by men and they love them. I love him, but he's so good. And you see that he is a horrible man, treating her terrible, like this. And they, but I love him. Women fall in love with terrible
Can I
men.
interject, please? If I
Men
may,
fall in
there
love
seems
too,
to be no
more
accounting
deeply.
for women's choices in this whole discussion. So why is it that we seem to be
Precisely.
only focusing
What
on
races? What
we only
races?
seem to be focusing on men, but we're not actually looking at female agency. We're not looking at
That's
the
right.
fact that, for
There is
example,
no-
Women's
a lot of
agency.
women-
Women's
Can I
agency.
finish? Can I
Okay.
finish? We're not looking
Yeah.
at the fact that a lot of women are attracted to certain types of men, and that there doesn't seem to be any accounting for that. That isn't somehow saying that it's all women's fault, not in the slightest. It's saying that why are we
Okay.
acknowledging the women
It's
are free
fair.
adults
If
to
you
make
want,
their
I
own
can
choices?
answer. If you
Sure.
want me, I can answer that.
Go
If
on.
you let me.
Hold
Okay.
on,
Yeah, go
hold
on.
on, hold on. Can someone else
let her answer.
speak
Okay.
to this
Okay.
issue?
Yes. No problem. No problem.
Can someone else speak to this issue?
All right.
Well, I can, of course.
Please.
Okay, well, what I see is yeah, it's exactly what Alex says. I know the politicized female perspective because I've read feminist books, tons of them. We all know the politicized female perspective. That's feminism. That's world dominated.
Hang on.
But
So are you
in
basically
addition, I
saying that
also know the
anti-feminist women are
politicized male
politicized?
perspective. So I have a whole other world of fact and truth that I also know. So I know about misogyny, but I also know about misandry. So I
It
know
doesn't
about the
affect
facts
me
and truths
that
that are
much.
missing. So I have a
Misandry
balanced
doesn't
view.
affect
I
me.
have
Right,
a
sorry,
balanced
Alex,
view.
please stop interrupting.
I have a balanced view, which I call a gender equalist view.
May I say something?
Please.
The only reason I asked someone else to speak to that is because Guadalupe, please correct me if I'm wrong. Am I speaking fast enough? Please correct me if I'm
No.
wrong.
Just
But,
go on, go on.
but Guadalupe, it sounded like you did not even comprehend that misandry exists.
Yeah.
Okay, well then how can we ask you to respond cogently to the question of women's culpability, women's accountability in the production of this system within which we find ourselves? That's
Can
not
I
a rhetorical
answer that?
question.
Okay,
go
can
on.
I
I will
answer?
answer that. I
No,
want to
no,
answer
Alex
that.
and Guadalupe, go on, Alex.
Misandry exists in the sense that it's a term that we use. That's fine.
Barely
The word dog exists. We can use that word. Fine. But what I guess Guadalupe and I are saying is, other than some feelings being hurt, misandry doesn't really affect men nearly as much as misogyny affects women.
Who
You can
cares
disagree.
about men's feelings?
You don't. Hang on, no. Men's feelings about women being pissed off that women are finally starting to not take men's bad behavior. But misandry, it just... I just love the fact that I'm a man on this panel who's a feminist.
Misandry is not a political issue in the way that you would perceive misogyny to be a political issue. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
All right, no worries, cool. Right, Guadalupe, you come in, and then we'll start to close.
Okay, I think I'm going to give, in order to illustrate my answer, I am going how women contribute. Look, if we live in the system, women, and now we are more free in the Western world. We are free, very free. Women, we have a lot of freedom. You can choose to get married. You can choose to be single. You can choose to get divorced. You can do it all. I have done it all, and I come from a very sexist background, and I have done it all. I have divorced, married, remarried, Okay, now I'm going to illustrate what you told me about why women contribute by looking at something that is very obvious. When people talk about, these areas of the world where women are cut, yes, in many areas of the world, even here, and you know what happens? The surprise that I am not, but people are always surprised that it is the women, the ones that cut their daughters and granddaughters, yes? And you say, how is that possible? It is possible, Clark, that's why, and here is my answer, because they live in a society where if they don't do that to their daughters are going to be left alone in that society where the men, the ones who are ruling that the women are supposed to be cut in order for them to marry them, yes? So the women are doing what the men are ordering them to do, so their daughters, the new women, are supposed to be wanted by them. So do you understand how it works? And that works in every level. Yes, in every level. Let me finish. Okay, that's why it's so surprising when here they found out a case. There was a very famous case in the courts where a woman have done that to her daughter, and she was given prison, a jail term, when really the ones behind the whole thing were free. And that happened.
Accounting for the women's agency. You've just
there is no agency. There is no agency. It's just meeting the requirements.
Deny female agency again.
Mothers are doing that to their and grandmothers are doing that to their daughters. That's not answering the question.
Yes, that's answering the question because
reinforcing what I'm saying.
It's to the level where we can all see it, because there are many ways of doing it. Look, why do women have to be, instead, all these women that are so highly thinking about their physique and all that. I understand that when people are young, you want to be, okay, but these women that they are so extremely highly sexualized. When you live in a world where you can do anything you want, you can really fulfill all your dreams, go for a profession, go traveling, everything. However, their main thing is about why are they polishing their chains? Okay, this is said by a very famous feminist, Mary Wollstonecraft. He said, women polish just a minute. Yes, sorry. Yes, women polish their chains. They are chained and they polish them to make them pretty. So they change their face. They do this, they do like that and like that. Why? So it's the same. How comes women, do they have agency? They will all say, I do it because I want. I do it because it's my choice. I am free. No. Sama, how comes you all look the same? We all, okay, I'm involved as well because look, I put makeup as well and stuff and I'm very old. How comes we all want to look the same with the same thing, the same figure, meeting something? Who gave us those standards? So it's the same. That's our agency. We say we do it because we want. Really, we don't. If you start to think, how comes all the women look the same? If you see all the actresses, all the blonde actresses, they all look the same. The dark actresses the same. The pretty girls that go with the footballers look the same. Who is the one designing? How comes women willingly because they want? It's their choice. It's their choice. Really,
all right.
That is no choice.
All right.
Right, thank you, everyone. We're about to finish now. Right, okay, let's just start to close up. So this has been a very interesting discussion, and yeah, would anybody like to just give some very, very brief closing thoughts? Jana hasn't really spoken, so yeah. But Jana, would you like to give any final thoughts on this? Okay, somebody else, would you like to give some final thoughts on this?
I would just say one thing. Clark said, I mentioned misandry hurting men's feelings, and he was like, he maybe you thought that I dismissed feelings, but my point was that misogyny unalives women. Misandry hurts my feelings. I can live with my feelings being hurt, but women, they actually
can I
get
please
unalived.
respond to this? Because you said that before.
No.
Let me quote something to you, okay?
I mean, you can disagree.
Quote,
But
I'm going to marry a really rich guy, then divorce him, explains a young woman to a Toronto newspaper. But first, I'm going to have his kids, so I get child support. What level of devastation do you think that creates in a man when he discovers that he's been fallen in love with and had children with a woman who planned all along to divorce him, get rid of him, accuse him of something, seal him out? I knew a woman who did that, and the man committed suicide, and yet she had
I loved Tim. The fact
no
that you think I'm going to
criminal
agree
accountability, because what she did is not defined as a crime within this so-called patriarchy. She could get away with that. You see, nothing held her accountable. Think of the power that a woman wields to do that.
There are a lot more men where that came from.
Okay, well, we've come to the end.
You're prejudiced.
Who cares? Who cares?
All right, thank you,
how
everyone.
They feel. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Thank
Right.
you, Sarina.
This has
Thank
been
you.
a very, very lively, interesting debate.
The
Thank
sun
you
has
for
not
joining us.
kept. Oh, Dylan is annoying.
Right, please don't talk over me. So, Frank, thank you everyone for tuning in today. It's very, very hot, and this has been a very, very fascinating discussion. I've listened very, very carefully to everybody. Please tune in for the next stream. I will be live again, actually, in taking a short break from stream. So I'll be live again in 2 weeks, so July 7th, possibly with the same people here, depending on who is available. Yeah, anyway, thank you, everybody. This is The Rational Female. Hope you've enjoyed, and I am tuning out now. Thank you.